today, so it's going to be interesting. At the moment it looks like I'm going to be doing a cook-along. Oh no, let's blow this candle out. As lovely as it is, we don't need that today. So, welcome to my sew-along for the vintage shirt dress. And I must remember I need that. It's not just the vintage shirt dress. I'm going to be showing you how to make a shirt from the vintage shirt dress. So the Sew Over It pattern, this is something I designed years and years ago for Sew Over It. And I haven't made one in a long time. I was looking at the instructions before I went live and I was like, oh, yeah, definitely going to need to look at those. Anyway, so I've got the laptop to hand. So, but what I want to do, because a vintage shirt dress, as lovely as it is, it's not really me anymore. It's a bit too formal. I wouldn't wear it very often. So I'm much more the kind of person that would wear a nice shirt with jeans tucked in. And so I thought, why not see if I can make it out of the vintage shirt dress, which I really like the vintage shirt dress because it's got a really pretty collar. So I have already changed the pattern and it's very easy. So this, I should say, I have not made one of these before. We're going to be winging it together and I hope it will work, but I think, yeah, there's obviously, we'll see how much we like it, but it's really quite easy to make a shirt from a shirt dress. It's just a question of deciding where to change the length. So I'm having to lean down because I don't think this is going high enough. So if I go like that, then you just get boobs. So that's not really going to be very helpful, is it? So I'm going to stay down in this position until I sit down to sew. So I want to explain to you what I have done to the pattern. Okay, so you can see the pattern here. This is the back bodice. Can you see that I've just added this section here? So this is the waist seam of the vintage shirt dress bodice. So that's meant to sit on the waist. Now, if you need to change anything, I'm not going to talk about that in this sew along. So if you needed to lengthen the bodice or shorten it, I'm assuming you're going to have done that by now. Any of the amendments, and all we're doing is just adding the bit extra onto that to make it into a shirt. So what I did is I literally got 2 tape measures. I tied around my waist and then I measured down from my waist how long I wanted it to be. And I think I just used this as a gauge because I know I'm going to be tucking it into into jeans. I didn't want it to be really long, but of course you could have it really long or longer. The only thing to be aware of then is that depends on your shape, but if you're going to get wider in the hip, then you're going to need to bring it out so that you've got more space there for it to get accommodate your hip. And you need to think about ease. So you need to think about how much you're going to need in addition to what your measurements are. On something like this, you want a minimum of 2 inches ease in the whole circumference at that point. But you might want a bit more. I'm making a size 10. Now, I haven't measured myself in a long time. Hello in Yorkshire. I haven't measured myself in a long time. And I did think, do you know what? I'll measure myself with you guys. So you can have a reminder of how to measure yourself, I guess. I'm using the camera as my guide, which is helpful. So my bust is 35 and my waist 28.5. And I don't need the hip, I just need that measurement there, 36. So which is almost like the top hip there. So I would say that I'm fitting nicely for something like this in the Sew Over It size 10. So that should be absolutely fine. Normally for me, my bottom does sit between a 10 and a 12, or it did used to. It might be different now. But this isn't relevant. So we only really need to check the bust and the waist and that top hip measurement. So because I didn't need to make any changes there, I'm literally, look, I'm attached to the facing. That's good, isn't it? Because I didn't need to make any changes there. All I need to do is add that length. So I decided to add 20 centimetres. So I am 5'7". Do you know that for years we've told everybody that I'm 5'6", and I'm actually 5'7"? I haven't actually told Sovit that. I measured myself, I can't remember why, but I measured myself, my height relatively recently, and I was like, I'm 5'7". All this time I've been 5'7". Anyway, if that helps as a gauge. So I've added 20 centimetres on, so that has to go on to both the front bodice, the back bodice, and also the upper facing. I've also created a curve, if you can see there, because I didn't want it just to be straight and straight. I wanted a nice curve. So I'm going to create a little hem that that curves around there, and that will be like essentially like a slit. Now I can decide where, I think I put a notch in there, but I might create the slit from a bit above. That might be a bit more flattering. And you can decide to do that or not do that. And I created that curve. I think because I can't find my pattern master or anything, I just got this, which was the lid of my candle. But you could use a little side plate, and I created the curve by just placing it on the edge of the pattern there. And then I copied it onto the same piece I think I did the back first and then copied it onto the front. Right, so we have done everything. I've done all my notches. We've talked about that. The other thing that I wanted to just do with you is the marking of these, just in case we've got any newbie dressmakers with us. I'm going to include instructions on things like that. So these are marks here, which will be where we're going to be pivoting to create the collar. So I'm just marking them now with a chalk pen on the size 10, and then I'm going to put my needle in, and I'm going to do it on that side. Okay, so that's fine. We can take this off now. Just make sure you've cut all your notches before you do that. Welcome to my kitchen, by the way. You're getting a view of my kitchen, which normally you don't see. This is my lovely kitchen. I'm very lucky. I love it very much. Oh, I haven't, after saying that, I've not done that notch. Yeah, right, so we take that out, take that out, take that out. That's that piece. We may get onto that today. We need to, I need to put the interfacing on that. Same for the back neck facing. We need to interface that. I have cut my interfacing, but I've not done anything with it yet. And then the collar, again, want to ideally get onto that today. So what I'm planning on doing today is starting off, so we can start the bodice off. We're going to overlock the side seams so that separately before we do anything with them. Then we are going to do this little gather detail here. So it's like the back has got a sort of grown on yoke that comes round and then hot positions here. So we're going to do that, and then we'll start the collar and then the facing, and we'll just see how far we get in an hour. And then I plan on seeing how far we get, and then I'll do another part 2 of this sew along next week on Tuesday with another part of it. I guess depending, we'll see how far we get with the collar, whether we need to do more of that together. Oh, I need to also mark these holes here, which is the front bodice where the gathering goes. But you'll see that I haven't got a sleeve pattern here cut out, and that's because I thought actually I'd really like to do a classic sleeve with a cuff, and then I realised I don't actually have a pattern with that I could kind of copy it. So I thought, well, I'll do that for next week, and then I can explain to you how I did it, but I'll just sort of lay, essentially I'll get the sleeve pattern for the vintage shirt dress and I'll lay it over a sort of classic sleeve that's similar. I need to think about what I could use, and then, yeah, so I can put a cuff on it. Oh, and another one. I tell you, there's so many little holes. So many little holes. There's another little hole. Why have I become Irish? No idea. No idea. I haven't seen who's joining. We've got 22 at the moment. Ow! When I go back to the machine, let's have it start to tell me where you're from. I always love hearing and seeing who's joining from where in the world. I know someone's already said hello in Yorkshire, so we've got another Yorkshire lass watching like me. Okay. Right, so now that is fine. So we're going to take those pieces that I need definitely now before I overlock them. We're going to start with these. Hi in Derbyshire. Hello, Vanessa. I'm going to take you with me, guys, because we are hanging out together. Hanging out together. I need to come down a bit now. Here's the overlocker. You just, once again, just seeing loads of my kitchen. There's the overlocker. And lipstick, in case anyone wonders what I'm wearing. Put this on quickly. Tropic Tonic, a MAC. Put a lipstick on just for you. I didn't have any makeup on today, guys, because I was on my field for Jazzy Rose Flowers. And then we were doing this, so I was like, I'll put some makeup on. Don't want to scare you all. Right, I'm not getting this angle right, but I don't want to faff around too much getting this angle because we're going to be at this point with this machine. So we're just going to overlock now. So all we're going to do is just overlock the side seams, which is really important with this because we're definitely going to be creating a slit here. So we need to overlock here. So I think I'm actually going to overlock not just the side seam, but I'm going to come around there, overlock down around the bottom hem as well. So if you haven't got an overlocker, you can just use a zigzag stitch. Sorry, my pedal is all the way over there. Hi in Luton. Oh, you are my neighbour. I now live not far from Kings Langley, which is West Hertfordshire. Which isn't far. Luton Airport's half an hour from me. Sorry, just don't mind me getting this all untangled. There we go, right. Off we go. You can kind of see what I'm doing here, good. So we're just going to overlock round here. And the reason why we're doing this singularly and at this stage is because we want to... Oh, my overlocking tension is shocking. Shocking, I say. What is that on? Is because we want to... be able to press the seams open and create that little side slit. So you don't want to be overlocking after you've sewn. Okay, so we're just coming up now to the next side seam. One done, and we're just on this one, we're just going to go down and across, but we're not worrying about the centre front because the centre front will be finished with the facing. Voila! And one more. Really need to get this serviced. I do not know how to get it serviced though, where to get it serviced. I need to do that. It is not tension on this is no good. Right, I don't think I'm going to need this for the rest of this session, but anyway, we'll leave it there. Oh, we're off on the move again, guys. Round the kitchen we go. We're coming round here. Excuse the dizziness that you may be experiencing. Ah! Oh, hi in Cape Town. Okay, I think we normally are a bit higher, so let me just go a bit higher if I can. Normally also you're over there. I think I'm going to put it over there. I'm not happy. Sorry guys. You're on the move again. Close your eyes in case you're going to get some sort of movement. I think next time I need to get another tripod so I can just clip in between. Never mind. We're learning, aren't we? There we go. Let's see if we can get that a bit higher. Yes, great. I've also got a really powerful light. Oh, now it looks like I'm sunbathing, but hopefully then you can see a little bit more. So, there we go, lovely, right. Let's get the pins, some snips, and we are going to rock and roll. Now, just so you know, there may be a little bark from Poppy coming up, as well as a little guest entering the house. My friend Jo and her daughter are staying with me at the moment, and her mum is here looking after Jo and her daughter. So there's lots of people in the house at the moment. Jazzy's not here, but yeah, Jo will be coming back from work, and I'm sure she's going to sneak in, but we might hear her, and I will probably get distracted. I've told her though it's all very relaxed. Our sew-alongs are very chilled, and in lockdown, I don't know if anyone ever remembered, but little Jazzy, when we first did these sew-alongs, little Jazzy was napping, and then she got up and she said that she needed a wee on the camera. So that was good. Of course you do, Jazz-waz. Going back a bit more, sorry, I'm still not happy. Sorry. Shouldn't have done that, I've made it worse. Better. That was so funny. Ah, there's someone here who remembers that. I need a wee. I was like, okay. Right. So, these bits here need to be gathered because they're going to go into the back. So here we have with memories. Here we have the front bodice here, and that's the shoulder piece here. And that you lay it over the back shoulder piece, you'll see that it's just a little bit longer. So what we do is we gather in between the two circle marks, the two chalk marks we've just done, and then we are going to ease that into the back seam. So we're going to do 2 rows of gather stitching within the seam allowance, which is 1.5 centimetres, 5/8 of an inch. So let's go ahead and do that. How, by the way, can I get some feedback on this camera position? Is this helpful? Can you sort of see roughly what I'm doing? I've chosen a very silly fabric in that it's dark. Just so I can take this camera down a bit. It's light. Does it bother you that you can't see my face? It's fine. Thanks, Vanessa. Okay, so I've done 1 row. I'm just going to do another row, okay? So when you're doing gather stitching or ease stitching, the key thing is not to reverse. So you're just going to stitch with a long stitch length, as long as your machine will do. So mine is 5. And then we leave the tails. Oh look, the light is working, yay! Okay, and so we then will pull those and they will gather up. Okay. Like that. Okay, so that's 1 done. Let's place that there. And let's do the other one. Okay, so again, just going in between these 2 marks. Circle. Now, I don't think we ever did a regular vintage shirt dress sew along. So some of you may not have made this before. Well, hopefully this will be inspiring to show you that whatever shirt dress pattern you've got, you could just amend it into a shirt. So if you really like the collar detail, and for me it's also this pretty yoke bit, then it can, yeah. I'm excited to finish it. So one thing I forgot, I was meant to start them off. I always find it hard to remember to say all the things at the beginning, because at the beginning there's usually one or two people there, and then I think, oh, well, I'm not going to say it now because not everyone is here. And then when everyone joins, I'm like way into the sewing and I forget. Anyway, in the description box below, I have linked to the pattern which we are making, which is the vintage shirt dress from Sew Over It. If I ever have a discount from the, I forgot to ask Rosie for a discount code, but if there is ever one, I will pop it in and also talk about it. And also in the description box is a link to my Buy Me a Coffee page. So buymeacoffee.com/Lisa Comfort, which is where you can literally buy me a coffee. Well, not literally a coffee. A man won't then rock up at the door with a coffee. But it's a way of you supporting the sew-alongs and telling me that you like them, and also allowing me to do more of them and to keep going with them. So this is something that I'm doing now, not only to get back into sewing again, but also to earn some winter income as my flower farm is now sleeping for the winter. So, we have done those two bits now. So we're now going to join the shoulder seams. So with these gathers. So I'm laying out the back bodice piece here, right side up, sorry. And then this is going to go right side down onto it. I also did mean to get the computer just so I can keep referencing the instructions to make sure I'm making it in the right order. Okay, now I'm just pinning that either side. So when I do something like this, I'm going to pin it at the shoulders first, so at the edges of the shoulders there, and then I'm going to adjust them, those gathers. And I'm going to adjust those gathers. I'm going to move the threads up so they're out the way like that, and then I am just going to move those gathers along with the pin. Okay, so it now looks like that. Right, so we're going to do one, let's do the other. Just move those gather threads, those tails upwards so that they're out the way. Line up one corner of the shoulder seam and pin, and the other corner of the shoulder seam. Okay. Thanks for the thumbs up, guys. That's great. Nice to see that. Bum, 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 bum. Okay, I'm just adjusting that because it's not really that gathered, that one. I'm going to put 3 pins in this one just to kind of hold those gathers in place evenly. Okay. Right, we're now going to sew that. Now the seam allowance is 1.5 centimetres, so we're going to sew that now. Make sure you put your stitch length back to the regular stitch length you would use normally for any seam, starting at that edge, and try and keep those tails of thread out of the way so we're not going to faff around fighting with those. So we're going to start at the edge there with 1.5 centimetre seam allowance. We're going to reverse at the beginning and at the end because we want this to stay in. And we do not want to have to, oh God, what am I doing? I'm changing the stitch. I'm not even pressing the reverse. I'm just pressing the stitch length, increasing the stitch length. That's really useful, Lisa. There we go, reverse. Hey, Sarah, hello. I haven't also talked about the fabric that I'm using, which should have. The fabric I'm using is a really nice lightweight cotton in a black watch kind of tartan. I got it from Higgs & Higgs, I believe. But yeah, it's a nice lightweight cotton. It's important to make this out of a lightweight cotton, otherwise it will just be bulky and stiff and won't look very flattering. You could also use something drapier, like a crepe or a rayon, just at the end there, and I've reversed. I'm taking off all those ends of threads now. Okay. So that's one done. Let's go over to the other side and do the other one. And then I said we don't need to overlock again, but I realised we do. We do want to overlock this bit again. We need to overlock these seams together. So we are going to have to overlock again tonight. For those of you that are in London, I have made some progress with my Friday Sew Club venue. So I have talked about doing a Friday Sew Club in London, and on my Instagram at Lisa Comfort, in case you're not aware of that. And I found a place, and then they were like, oh, we need you to have all the machines pat tested. And I was like, oh, but people will be bringing the machines. I don't know if I can, you know, and different people might come each week. And then also a lot of you had said, oh, I'd love to come, but I can't carry my sewing machine in London. It's too much. Anyway, I've spoken to the girls at New Craft House, and we're just in final chats about me using their studio space and renting it with all the machines and all the irons and everything. So none of us will have to bring loads of stuff. It's probably going to be from 12 till 2 on a Friday, and it will be, so for 2 hours. I thought that that's more achievable in people's diaries than a 3-hour session, because you could sneak away and kind of say it's your lunch. And then for those of you that aren't in London, I want to try and see if I can do a virtual sew club from there as well, afterwards or before. I haven't worked out. So yeah, stay tuned on in my Instagram, and I will tell you when it's all confirmed. Right, that's fine now. So we are now just going to quickly overlock. We bothered to change positions and move camera, tripod, make you all feel like you're on a roller coaster ride again. So I'm just going to drag this here. There we go. Okay, so, oh no, what have I done? That's classic me. In my dragging of that, I've basically pulled it out the way. So that was good, wasn't it? I'll get there. It's a bit of a new setup. I normally do it from the other side, but there's a big mirror there, and I just think with the lights that I'm using, that would have been really distracting. So I'm just going to overlock those seam allowances together. Just to tidy those off, and then I'm just going to trim those ends off. And then the same here. Side and trim. Okay. So, you know that I like to do context, so let's do context, because it does help people work out what we are doing. So you can see already that is the sort of grown on yoke detail here. That is now finished. Okay, if you get the idea, this will come back like that, and the collar will be on. And that's how it will start to look like a shirt. Okay, so we're going to be on the move again now. We're on the move again, because we need to do some ironing. Right. Yeah, there's no more budge on this. So we'll just change it like that. And we're going to get the iron out, because we are going to iron the interfacing onto the collar. I just need to get my actual iron. My actual iron, as opposed to this. Can you see it switched on, Mr. Iron? No. There we go. There we go. You can still see me. Okay, I'm going to put it on to just a gentle heat setting actually. I'm going to take the steam off. And we're going to interface one side of the collar. Now there's no right side or wrong side to my my collar, my fabric. But if you did, you'd be placing this onto the wrong side. So just gentle press, try not to overly stretch the viling interfacing, which is very easy to do. Okay, is that on? Yeah, got a little bit of extra there, I can trim that off. But that is the collar done. So that's ready. I'll pop that over there because we're going to be sewing with that. And then I'm just going to also do, because we might get to this point as well, I'm going to do the, this is annoying actually, I'll have to re-mark those chalk marks. Anyway, I'm now just going to do the facing, so the upper facing as well. I'm going to interface those pieces. It needs to be a bit hotter, it's not quite hot enough. There we go. Now when I first started designing, was writing instructions, and this is definitely one of the first, and I used to hate interfacing because I felt like, it's because I came from a couture background and we just didn't use interfacing really. I just felt like it made it all too rigid and I didn't like it. But I have over the years learned to love it. Oh look, I've missed a bit there on the interfacing. I've learned to love the interfacings and realise that, you know, they can improve. They can improve things, so, and they do make things a lot crisper. It's very important to me that I don't ever use that really thick, papery kind of interfacing because I hate that. You know, the really kind of like the cheaper ones. This stuff that we have at Sew Over It, I say we, it's not really we anymore, but the stuff that they sell at Sew Over It is amazing. Okay, I'm coming back over there. I'm going to grab this laptop just so and then we're back again, just so I can check what we're doing in terms of order and also just in terms of me forgetting. So we have done the shoulder seams. We're then skipping all the steps to add the skirt because we're not doing that. And then we're going to go onto the collar. So we're going to pin the collar pieces together. So you don't, I think it says you can interface the collar if you want to. Of course, obviously, anyway. So we're going to place the collar right sides together and we're going to be sewing the unnotched edge, which is the curved edge. Okay, so it's just going to be this bit here, not this bit here. Okay, so we're just going to pin that together. Now the seam allowance on this is 1.5 centimetres. And then we're going to trim that down to half its width, to about 7 millimetres once we've sewn it. Put that over there. Okay, that's pinned. Okay, so start here at that top corner there, line up with your 1.5, 5/8 of an inch. And away we go. Now, as you're coming around the corner, you want to take your time and get that really nice curve, because this is going to be the final shape of your collar. And then if you're anxious about sticking to that, one thing you could do is you could always use the pattern to trace that curve onto your fabric to help you have a line to follow. So you could chalk onto the fabric that curve, if that helps you, rather than following the seam allowance. Because when it's 1.5 centimetres, it is slightly harder to follow an accurate curve. So we're just coming around the corner slowly. If you notice, I'm going slowly. You can obviously stop and put the needle in and pivot if you want to, if that would help you. But just be careful if you are doing that you don't turn it too much, because you can then create far too strong a pivot and an angle, which you don't want. We want to keep it a smooth curve. Okay. Oh, Jo is back. Poppy is there to announce her arrival. Poppy! Poppy! No. No! Shh! Come here. Come here. What's this? What's this? Hey? Come in. Come in, Jo. Poppy. Shh. I'm live. Yeah, I've already given everyone a warning that this will happen. You now have to bob in.
Hi, welcome to the madhouse. Just two crazy entrepreneurs living to work together for a month. And what could possibly happen?
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, I dropped you in it there. Oh, right. So we're just trimming that down to half its width, which is 7 millimeters. Just under a centimetre, sort of 2/8 of an inch or so, I'd say. Okay. And you need to trim that seam allowance down, otherwise when you turn it through, it's not going to be, it's not going to turn through. On top of that, we also need to cut into the curved edges. So where it's a cute curve there, we need to cut in some little triangles, okay? So every centimetre or so. So you're going up to the seam, well, about 2 millimeters away from the seam, definitely no further. Okay. There we go. Voila. Okay, so let's do it on the other side. And that will help it sit flat. See? Okay. So now we're going to turn it through, and we're now going to push that out, so we create a nice smooth shape, and we have to press it. So if you've interfaced it, then this will be the top side of the collar, the interface side, and we're going to roll that so that it sort of rolls. So you roll it so you're not going to see the underside. So you see, so I'm trying to see if I can show you that close. So there is the seam there, and you're just going to roll it so that the interface side is just, the top side is essentially coming over. Can I drop this down without creating a drama? Can I? Whoa! No, bear with. height. So Joe's just checking that we haven't got burgled.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I just needed to change the height.
You still look very glamorous.
Oh, well, that's good.
Proceed.
So rolling it between your finger and thumb there, and just rolling it so that the top collar, the interface side, is rolled over the edge. And then you're just going to press that flat. And as you're doing it, you're going to check and kind of quality control the curve. And I would take a pin with you so that you can just pull out the seam and just really perfect that curve. I can put my steam back on actually. And also my heat, I was thinking that's not hot enough. So, and it's worth taking your time doing this, because otherwise you're going to have a funny, you know, the shape that you press this into will be the shape that your collar will be, so. I've got 2 points there that I'm not happy, little points. I'm just not pulling out that bit there. That's better. Okay, it's very hard for you to see, but essentially that seam, you can't see the seam. The seam is, so this top collar is rolled over onto the other side so that we don't see the seam allowance. And then I'm going to continue along the straight edge, which is a bit simpler because it's not fiddly. And then we're just going to do the same with this other side too. I keep looking up at that bright light, which is great because it's helping you all see, but it is blinding me. I feel blinded by it. Oh. Okay, and press. Okay. And then we're just going to tease that out, that last little bit there. Okay. Okay, we have done the collar. The collar is done. Now, I don't think we're attaching it quite yet. No, we're just doing a machine based and then we're attaching it. So, given that it's 7:45, as always, I thought we'd fit millions in, but we're not going to fit millions in. So, but I'm hoping we'll still get this collar attached. So let's do the machine basting, so machine tacking. So we're just going to put our stitch length up to 5, the longest stitch length it will go. And on those open edges of the collar, within the seam allowance of 1.5 centimetres, we're just going to tack them together. Just so that when we're attaching it to the dress, not the dress, the shirt, we're not faffing around with the two edges moving apart. Okay, so then we are going to attach it to the neckline of the shirt. So I'm going to place the shirt right sides up. I haven't pressed that, have I? We need to do that. Let's press that. Just check. Okay. I'm going to press it up towards the bodice. Oh, sorry, not the bodice, towards the back. And this is just that yoke seam on the shoulder there. I'm going to press this now because we're going to now be stitching this down when we add the collar on, so important to do that first. Right, back to that. So now we can place that right sides up. Okay, just check my angle. How are we doing? Can you see? Can you see? That's a bit better. Taking the collar. Now, I just need to check. Yes, so we've got the underside of the collar is going onto the right side of the bodice, the neckline. Okay. So the chalk point that we put in here, that pivot point, that's where the collar should line up to. So I'm going to put a pin in there. And then there are notches. Now the notches, there's one there, should line up with the notches that we have on the neckline of the shirt. So there should be, there isn't actually a notch there, but on the centre back of the neckline of the shirt, it should line up with the notch you've got there in the middle of the collar. And then we're coming round to another. You might need to do a little bit of easing just to get that in place. Let's just pin it all and then we'll work out what we need to ease. And then lining up the other side of the collar with the chalk pivot point. Okay. So let's have a look. Yeah, we need to do a little bit of easing. So we're just now going to fill in the pins and just where you need to, if you need to ease in. So easing in is when you're pushing one fabric that's a little bit longer into another fabric that's shorter. So you've got a little bit of difference. You just want to ease that collar in. But it means you're going to have to pin quite a lot just to make sure that it's even. Otherwise you end up with little pleats. Okay. I also find it easier if I slightly sort of lick my fingers, I can then grip the fabric a bit and ease it in with my fingers as well. Whoops, caught something I shouldn't have there. Okay, this is going to be quite vicious with pins, but there we go. So we're going to machine tack that in. 9mm. Okay, so that's just within the seam allowance, I assume, there. So we need to just make sure that's just under 1 centimetre, just under 3/8 of an inch. And we're machine tacking, so long stitch again. This is going to essentially get sandwiched with the facing, which is why we're just machine tacking it in. I'm being a bit naughty and I'm sewing over my pins where I needed to ease it in a little, just to make it easier. What is going on there, Lisa? Put that on there. Tiny little pleat there, so I'm just using my pin just to pull that out so that doesn't stay. So what can happen when you've started to when you're easing in is you can find that it moves as you take the pins out. The little ripple just follows you through because the presser foot and essentially the top fabric is getting pushed or stretched slightly more, and making it almost worse, especially if the top fabric is the one that's being eased in. So you just sometimes need to stop and re-pin it. We're past it now, yeah. Just make sure that those shoulder seams of the yoke are still pressed in the direction, so that's up towards the back bodice. there we go. Okie dokie. So we have a collar. Again, just showing you to try and give you context. When the facing is on, that will turn back like so, and that will be the shape of the collar. Very, very rudimentary kind of look here, and I'm not quite sure if you can even see in this light. So what I'm going to do for next week is I am going to, I'm just trying to think if I can do the sleeves. I think what I'll do is I will make up my sleeves and my cuffs because that's not specific to this pattern, and I'll explain how I transferred the pattern onto the sleeve of the vintage shirt dress. So I'll explain that, but I'll already hopefully made the cuffs. I'm sure I'll have time to do that. And then what we can do is we can finish the facing together and also the side seams and maybe put in one of the sleeves. So we've then done the majority of the tricky things, and then all that will be left then is just to do the buttons and buttonholes, which you can do on your own, which is not specific to this pattern, and also the hem. So that is it for tonight though. We've just about made it to 8 o'clock, so I'm not going to start the facing now because it's just going to be interrupted. And Jo definitely needs her tea. So I am going to come back though. I haven't announced this yet, but I'm going to come and do another sew along, which will be the Billy, this Tilly and the Buttons Billy sweatshirt. I'm going to do that on Thursday morning. Now I realise Thursday morning, I think I'm going to do it at 12:30. I will confirm on my Instagram. But 12:30 on Thursday for an hour, I'll be doing Billy sweatshirt if you want to join me. But of course, as you know, all of these sew-alongs go onto my YouTube channel. You can watch them in your own time whenever you can, when you can make it. So if you can't make it then no worries. But hopefully some of you will, and you can sew that with me. Or maybe you can just have me on whilst you're sewing something as well. It will be slightly simpler, I hope. So maybe we'll get a bit more chance to chat. And hopefully I'll have a bit more info about the Friday Sew Club stuff. So see you then. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight and for spending this hour with me. Like I said, the link to the pattern is in the description box below, as is the iron wanted to say goodbye to, as is the link to my coffee page. So if you like this and found it useful, please do give it a thumbs up and head over there and buy me a coffee. Thank you very much. Have a nice evening. Bye.